Some people believe that the words we say are spells, and get ready for this story because I'm pretty sure I casted the worst possible spell on myself.
You're listening to the Living Adventures podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Ashley Milkey and Victoria Vance. Tune in for a new episode every Thursday to hear our honest conversations about topics like freedom, creativity, spirituality, luxury living, health and wellness, and above all else, building community.
We have real and unfiltered conversations inspired by our search to feel connected to people who give a shit about us, support our dreams, and understand our struggles. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to navigate any moment in your life with the lens of your neurodivergent mind, with a community who gets you. Adventure on. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Living Adventures podcast. It's your host here, Ashley Milkey, here with a solo episode. And I'm so pumped for today's episode because when I was thinking, what do I want to talk about? I was like, I know my goal for this episode is to light a fire under your booty, make you feel so motivated, so magnetic, like you could walk into any room in the world and every single person would be like, how do they do it? And that's exactly what we're going to do here today, because I'm going to break down for you the 6 steps that you can take to start putting yourself first and stop giving all your good luck away to all the people, strangers you meet in your life. And if you've ever struggled with people-pleasing tendencies, or if you just constantly find yourself putting everyone else's needs before yours, this one goes out to you. And you might be, maybe you haven't seen this as a problem in your life, but people-pleasing and putting others' needs first, it's like a tale as old as time. We all know that we can't fill from an empty cup, right? We need to fill up our own cups to then give to others, yada, yada, yada. That's something that we've heard, and then we just throw in the garbage because in reality, we all want to help people for the most part. And a lot of us really do struggle to put ourselves first for a lot of reasons, because we don't think we're worthy of it, because we have shame around doing it, because we don't want to come across as selfish, or we just really value other people and we want to make sure they feel supported and seen and don't feel all the bad things that we've maybe ever felt throughout our lives. And I want to flip the script on that and teach you how you can create so much magnetism and so much good luck for yourself in putting yourself first. And I'm going to hit you with a story time to teach you why not putting yourself first is the worst idea and how it is negatively impacting your good luck. So you may have heard from me that I absolutely don't love affirmations. I think affirmations are a big band-aid that we slap on subconscious programming of us feeling unworthy, or we're not confident or not good enough. These things run in the back of our mind and are almost our default. And if a situation happens and something goes wrong, your default might be, of course that happened to me because I'm not very confident. And then people come along and they're like, affirmations are amazing. Just say them in the mirror every day and you'll change your life. And then you're telling yourself, I'm confident, and nothing happens. But I will say on the flip side, affirmations are really cool when you're using them to set an intention, or when you've already done the mindset work to have a new default belief. For example, when I was working with one of my mentors, I had this default belief that everything I touch is gold. And when people ask me, Ashley, how are you so confident? I'm like, it's that energy. It's that core belief in my soul that everything I touch is gold. There is no situation, no project, no person in my life doesn't get better by me being involved. And some people might call that cocky and might say I need to be more humble, but that is my confidence. Everything I touch is gold. Well, that became a really big negative statement in my life, and you're gonna get all the dirty details why. Some people believe that the words we say are spells, and get ready for this story because I'm pretty sure I casted the worst possible spell on myself by saying everything I touch is gold. And shouldn't I have known? Because Midas touched, the whole story about Midas, and everything he touched turned to gold, but then he started turning all of these things that he loved into gold, and people, and bad times, bad vibes, money's not worth it in the end, yada, yada, yada. But for months, I was working with my mentor and just things were not going my way. I was having all these troubles with clients. My launches were going weird. I was getting weird emails. I was feeling stuck. I was feeling behind. I didn't have any good ideas. I just felt like I was a gear in a machine and I was rusted and no one had taken care of me or given me oil. And I used to be this bright, shiny gear that was just going and going and going. And then all of a sudden I just stopped. And I was like, that's so weird. What's going on? And for months, I swear, me and my mentor were trying to figure this out. We're like, is it the messaging? What's going on with sales? A huge rut in my life. And I'm like, I swear I've been writing down this intention every day that everything I touch turns to gold. Meanwhile, I was getting on calls with my mentor and I was like, dude, I'm so excited about my clients. I had this client, she just had a $10,000 launch. I had this client, she just sold 20 spots in her program. I had this client, they just got 100,000 followers on TikTok. My clients were thriving. And I would keep every call with my mentor. I would tell her about my updates, about my clients and how well they were doing. And then I would come back to me and be like, why am I so stuck? Everything I touch turns to gold. Until one day, me and my mentor put the pieces together and we were like, OMG. Everything I touch turns to gold, but not for me. That was actually what was happening in my little mind. My little default was everything turns to gold. Everything I touch is gold, but only if it's for other people. So this whole time where I thought I was so confident, so amazing, everything I had been doing and working on was just of service to other people. Of course, my clients were going viral on TikTok and getting hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Of course, they were getting 400 applications for their coaching program and making $20,000, $50,000. Of course, because I was interacting with them and every project I work on turns to gold. But I didn't give that to myself because I wasn't putting myself first. I was putting them first, their success first, all those things. And I mean, how many times in our lives do we all do that? Where we are so focused on bettering someone else's life and we can't even see the reason why we're stuck is because we're not taking care of numero uno. This is not an original concept. This is not a groundbreaking realization, but at the time, for me, it was. I couldn't even see how much of myself that I had been giving away, that my own statement of everything I touch turns to gold turned into something that didn't even work for me because I wasn't even using it for myself. And I was so frustrated. And maybe you've been there too, where you've started to notice, oh my gosh, I feel a little angry or a little bitter. Why is everyone else doing so well? Or I feel like I'm just taking care of everyone. Who's going to take care of me? We're going to get freaking answers on that today, ladies and gentlemen. And so what I had to do in that situation was call my freaking power back. That's really what happens every time you decide to fill someone else's cup up when you're running on empty, or you decide that someone else is more valuable than you in any given moment. You're giving all of your power away. And it's not that it's bad intentioned, right? I wanted to help my clients so bad. I wanted them to be successful. I loved giving them really creative ideas. I loved helping them figure out their messaging. I loved helping them shift their own mindsets and find their own confidence. But even with that great intention of helping them improve, I gave them my power because I wasn't giving my power to myself first. And so there went my creative ideas out the door, off to that client. There went my good ideas about how to shift their mindset, off to that client. And I wasn't doing any of that work for myself, for my business, for my life. And so when I called my power back, I literally was like, I call this back to me. I had to change that phrase. It's not just that everything I touch turns to gold. It's everything I touch turns to gold for me, specifically for me. And again, it's not enough to just say that because I don't necessarily love the idea of affirmations, band-aids. We know that now. So I had to figure out a way, how can I take action on this to prove to myself that I believe that I am worth gold, that I believe that things will turn to gold for me because I will take care of me. And it's really hard to put yourself first. And so to help you do this, I have compiled 6 steps we can all take in those moments where we found ourselves giving and giving and giving, and we realized no one is giving to us. In business, when I'm coaching people, I tell them every time you give, you should ask for something. If you are on TikTok or on your email list or on anywhere and you're giving value and knowledge and inspiration and tips, you should also in return ask for a sale or promote yourself. Give one, get one kind of vibe. But it's a little different in life because we shouldn't give one, get one. We should just fill our cup up first. And the first step in really taking your power back and starting to take care of yourself first is really deciding that you're going to be the one to fill your cup up. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but there was a time when Adrian in December was studying for his law school finals. And, he was working really, really hard and he was studying every single night. He had full-time work all day. He would go to class. He would come home and study. I did not see him for weeks. I was just hanging out in the living room all alone at night. And I was getting so frustrated because that was happening with him. I had stuff going on with clients. It just was this ball that the world had given me of situations that said, oh, Ashley, you're not really a priority to anyone. And I got really frustrated by that. I'm like, why am I not a priority? Hello, why is nobody seeing me? And the thing I realized in that is I wasn't prioritizing myself. And everyone talks about how the universe is a mirror. Whatever you're putting out, you're going to get back. So if I'm putting out, I'm not a priority because I don't want to take care of myself. Why is anyone else going to make me a priority? I don't look at myself that way. So why would they look at me that way? And so that was something that I had to shift. And we're going to get into that in the 6 steps. So let's dive in. Here are the 6 steps so you can start putting yourself first and stop giving all your good luck away to other people. Because really what happens when you start to put yourself first is your energy shifts. You become magnetic. You become glowy. People who do their little skin care routines in the morning, they glow. Not just because of the beautiful, beautiful liquids they're applying to their face, but because they put themselves first, very first thing in the morning or very last thing in the night. They took care of them. And that's the confidence that they have, that knowing that they're valuable, knowing that they're worth it to do those kind of things. So we're going to give that to you today, because when you're magnetic in that way, that's where lucky things start to happen for you and good things start to come your way. So the very first step, when you want to start putting yourself first and stop giving all that good luck away, is acknowledging all the ways that you are last. And not last necessarily, but the first question you really want to ask yourself is, where in my life do others' needs come before mine? And this can be a hard question to answer. It can be a simple question to answer depending on, how much you've been focusing on this topic over the past few weeks. If you're not sure where to start, I really recommend just go by bracket of your life. Even throughout your day, okay, in my morning, whose needs come first? In my afternoon, whose needs come first? At work, what's going on there? In the kitchen, what's going on there? During dinner time, all of those things. For me, if I thought about whose needs were coming before mine in my life whenever I was giving all my power away and helping all my clients turn their lives into gold while I just sat in the little sidelines, it's obviously my clients. My business was coming before my needs. So maybe your work, your job, my dog was coming before my needs, my husband. I was taking care of everyone and everything. And if I didn't get taken care of, that was okay. Because, hey, it's just me, right? We've all had that thought before. Oh, it's just me. I'll skip that gym workout that I wanted to go do. Oh, I won't eat that thing I wanted to eat because someone else wants to eat something different. Or, I won't stay in tonight because my friend really needs me. All these excuses that we give ourselves because we think that we're not good enough. No. So that's the very first step, is acknowledging that. And even for me, I would work on my business and work so late that I would not order groceries for myself. And we'll talk about that more later, but come on. So first, awareness is key. Then a second thing, before you even take any action steps, is you really have to acknowledge that you deserve the spotlight. If you do not prioritize yourself, how will others? The same thing that I talked about earlier that was happening with Adrian in the world, and I didn't prioritize myself. So much to the fact that I was like I said, I was so slow about buying groceries, and I didn't have the refrigerator full of things that I want, and I just was eating out because my husband liked eating out. And if I took a moment and I was like, okay, well, what do I need in this moment? I want really yummy groceries. It's so easy to think that you're prioritizing yourself, especially if you are on self-help TikTok or, morning routine TikTok, all these kind of things, because I literally thought I was prioritizing myself. I thought that I was doing my morning routine where I would journal and meditate, and that was good enough. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen, there is more to the day than just the morning. And so if all you're doing is prioritizing yourself in the morning, but not throughout the rest of the day, that is still you giving all your power away, all your good vibes, good luck away, and filling other people's cups up before yours. And we have to acknowledge that we are worthy of being a priority. And there is nothing selfish in you prioritizing yourself and prioritizing the things that you need. And for me, it was really a slap in the face when I was like, Ashley, why would people prioritize you when you won't even prioritize buying yourself really yummy food and groceries for your home. And I swear ever since I had that, my fridge has always been stocked of the most delicious things, because if I can signal to myself in one really simple way that I am worthy of being a priority, it's this. And maybe that'll be it for you too. One simple way to show yourself that you're a priority. But at the very least, acknowledge that you're worthy of this. And if you don't believe that right now, that's okay. I'll tell you, you are worthy. Repeat after me, I am worthy. You are worthy of being a priority. So call that power back, because you're in control of your life and you do have the power to meet your needs and give yourself everything that you need in some small way. So that's number 2. Number 3 is you need to ask yourself, what needs do I want fulfilled, right? So we know that you've been giving your power away, you're putting other people before yourself. We know now that you deserve that spotlight, you deserve to be a priority, but now we need to get clear about what do you want to be prioritized for? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I wanted really yummy food. I knew I needed a space to check on my mental health. I knew I needed time to be creative. I needed time to go on walks. And so think about what are things that you need right now? And maybe you don't know because you've been taking care of other people for so long, maybe even your whole life. And so I think a really easy place to start is, what do you know you don't want? Where are those moments in life where you're like, I wish I didn't go to that dinner, or I wish I didn't help that person with this thing, or I wish I would have just stayed home and done XYZ, because that can start to help you figure out where you're not meeting your own needs in really, really easy ways. Just flip it. Or okay, I didn't want to go to that dinner. What did I want to be doing instead? What need did I need met? And then after that, you can get into the really fun part, which is the one I love most. Number 4, what brings me joy? What makes you happy? What makes you excited? What makes you feel whole? I have a long list of activities and things and products that bring me joy, so I know that that's how I can fill myself up. And these do not have to be incredible, time-consuming things. One thing that brings me joy and helps me prioritize myself in the morning is quite simply lighting a candle. And at least for every day this week, I have been listening to have a playlist of songs that make me feel like a goddess. I turn that on and then I light my little candle. I do a little dance in the morning, and that 2 minutes is just for me, and it's pure bliss where I get to feel like I'm on top of the world. I get to think about how I'm going to carry that energy with me throughout my entire day. And even if that was the only time I had me time throughout the day, that would carry me through. It's a very good start. So what brings you joy? Like I said, it can be simple. Maybe it's a skincare routine. Maybe it's turning up your music super loud on your way to work when you're in the car and singing by yourself. Maybe it's drawing, walking, exercising. Make a list. Put one thing on the list. I don't care, but find something that brings you joy, or something that you know is going to fill your cup back up. And if you're someone who's been on the burnout train, and I've been on that train, I've been working to get off. Sometimes we hop back on, but mostly I've been staying off of it. You might just quite literally need rest. Your need might be rest. The thing that might bring you joy right now might be rest, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to prioritize that rest. You have to prioritize that nap you want to get in, that extra hour of sleep that you want to have if you go to bed early or sleep in late, whatever you want. You have to be the one in control of that, which leads me to number 5, which is you have to make time for yourself. And I'm talking non-negotiable time for yourself. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be 2 minutes at the beginning of the day like I do. It can be a 2-hour morning routine like I do. But it has to be time that you set aside for yourself, that you do not give up. I already said at the beginning of this episode, we are so quick to say, oh, well, it's just me. Of course I can push that aside because I'm always with myself. I can always do my journaling. I can always do my meditating. I could go on a walk anytime. Of course I'll go help that person. But every time you break a promise to yourself, let's say if I say today I'm going to go do a 3-mile run, which I am. I'm so pumped, training for a half marathon. That's a side note. Let's say I'm going to go for a 3-mile run and then I don't do it. You know what happens every time you break a promise to yourself? You lose trust in yourself. It's the same thing as a flaky friend. If you have a friend who every Tuesday night is like, hey, let's go out to dinner. Let's go catch up. It comes to Tuesday, 5 minutes before you're about to head out, and she's like, oh, never mind. you're probably going to be like, well, that's a pretty shitty friend. And, I don't really believe her now when she says we're going to do things. That's quite literally what you tell yourself whenever you're like, I'm going to put myself first. And then you don't. I'm going to go buy groceries. And then you don't. I'm going to go do my journaling. And then you don't. And there's nothing wrong if you say you want to do something and then you don't do it because you don't feel aligned with it. So for example, everyone's telling you that the best way to put yourself first is an amazing skincare routine, but then you actually hate the skincare routine and it doesn't actually bring you joy and it doesn't actually make you feel any better, then sure, don't do the skincare routine because it's not actually in alignment. But if you have that list of things that actually bring you joy and you know for a fact that they bring you joy, I know for a fact a 10-minute walk will shift my entire day, and I tell myself I'm going to go on that walk and I don't go, instant trust lost. I'm that flaky friend. And we already talked in the intuition episode that we want to practice trusting ourselves. And this is such a good way to do that. So your challenge or your homework assignment before we get to our very last tip for this episode is go on your calendar. And I need you to make a date with yourself to put yourself first. I don't care how long it is. It could be literally 2 minutes. I don't care what you do in that time, but I want it to be something that brings you joy, that fills up your cup, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel energized, motivated, rested, whatever feeling that you're recognizing you need right now. Sometimes I just need to feel rested and I go take a nap. Sometimes I need to feel motivated, and that's when I listen to my favorite songs. And so that's your homework assignment. Now for the last tip, number 6. This is a very, very key one because this is how you're going to start practicing trusting yourself and not being the flaky friend to yourself. Say no and set boundaries. You have to say no sometimes if you want to put yourself first. If you just put that date with yourself on your calendar right now and it's at 5:30 p.m. and tomorrow your best friend Becky texts you and she wants to call you at 5:30, I need you to say no. I need you to put yourself first and be like, oh, sorry, I have something on my calendar that I can't move, but I can call you at this time instead. And setting boundaries doesn't have to be this big dramatic thing. It can be just as simple as that. It doesn't even have to be you being like, oh, I'm sorry, I told myself I would put myself first and I have this date with myself. Like, no one needs that. Just literally be like, oh, I have something on my calendar. Maybe we do it another time, because you deserve to fill up your cup. You deserve to call your power back. Do you want to know what happened when I started realizing that I wasn't prioritizing myself and then I decided that everything I touch turns to gold for me? I started going viral on TikTok. I started getting more followers. I started selling out launches and making more money. And all these lucky things started happening for me, but it's because I started to prioritize myself, so the world started to prioritize me. And that is the challenge that you have to take on this week. I'm telling you, you have to put yourself first because, like I said, you're worthy of it. And it's not an easy thing to do, but hopefully this episode serves as a reminder that you're just 6 steps away from feeling like somebody's taking care of you because it's you. And maybe sometimes that's a little sad, oh, of course, only I can take care of myself. But no, that's powerful. That's powerful that you are never stuck in life and you are always on the right path because you are there to support yourself. You are there to carry yourself forward. And if you listen to the intuition episode, you know that it's you and your intuition against the world, and no one can bring you down if you're taking care of yourself. You don't have to rely on anyone. You don't have to feel disappointed. You have a solid foundation of trust within you, and from there you build. From there you can inspire the world. From there you can take even better care of other people. From there you can accomplish your dreams. You can feel motivated, and best of all, you can feel really mother effing lucky. So your homework assignment, like I said, is go put a date right now on your calendar with yourself. You're going to go date yourself for any time between 2 minutes and many hours, something that's going to fulfill something you need right now that brings you joy. And if anyone tries to spoil that joy, you're going to tell them no, and they cannot interrupt your plans. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Find me on Instagram and go comment or DM me and tell me, what are you doing this week to put yourself first? What activity, what action step? And you guys, it doesn't even have to be an activity. It could literally be you setting a boundary and you're not going to go out and you're going to stay in instead. I love that for you if that's the thing you're doing to put yourself first. I hope this helps so much. Don't forget, we have really cool things happening. We have an event in Boston on Thursday, November 9th. If you're in Boston and you want to meet other content creators and business owners, come hang out with us. Put yourself first in terms of putting yourself with really creative and inspiring people who are just going to lift you up. Also, we have our collection of merch available if you want to be socially selective and set boundaries. Or, oh my gosh, you know what's the perfect sweatshirt for this episode? The It's Not You, It's My Needs sweatshirt that literally says say no on the sleeve. That would be the perfect one if you're ready to put yourself first. Like, wear that all the time. If someone's like, what do you mean you're not going to hang out with us? It's like, it's not you, it's my needs. Thank you so much. Gonna go take care of my needs. So go do that. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Please leave us a review. We've been getting so many nice reviews, and it is so lovely to hear from you guys. You know, we're just in our houses talking to a little microphone. So anytime we get interaction from the listeners and just hear your thoughts or hear how we've been benefiting you or getting like your takeaways and what you're learning from the episodes, it's huge. It makes me feel so connected to you. So please leave a review, and I will see you on Thursday for our duo episode. Bye, guys.